In this video, I will talk about the thermostat housing of the Renault HR13 engine, commercially known as 1.3 TCe. I will discuss the symptoms of overheating of the engine and its witnesses. We will see how to change the thermostat housing and how to fill and bleed the engine cooling circuit. It may happen that we see that the temperature of our engine is increasing more than normal, until the engine overheating warning light and message appears. We must stop the engine to avoid damage. 120 degrees Celsius is the warning temperature for stopping the engine without causing damage. If this is not done, the temperature will rise until the engine breaks down and flue. When the bonnet is opened, we can see that the coolant reservoir is empty. In this case, we can see that there is residual liquid on top of the gearbox. Just below the thermostat housing, which also looks wet, there is a slight leak from the thermostat housing, and I am going to replace it with a new one. In my case, the leak is located in the central part of its thermal junction. There is a small crack due to the detachment of both pieces. There is no difficulty in making the change, but we will need the right tools to make the job easier. For disconnecting pipes, clamp pliers. To remove the thermostat screws, a small 8mm hexagon socket spanner and a 10mm hexagon socket spanner. A staple puller for easy removal of the wiring attached to the thermostat. Use fine sandpaper or an abrasive sponge to clean the base of the thermostat housing on the engine side. And let's not forget the coolant. As this is a Renault SCENIC 4, it is necessary to remove the air vent grille and its cover in order to reach the thermostat housing. In this vehicle, the space available for disassembly and assembly is limited. The repair manual indicates that the battery with its holder must be disassembled, and, in addition, the complete air filter. I'm going to change it without dismantling. The space is limited, but it is possible to do it without much difficulty. The first thing to do is to remove the screw from the metal cooling pipe. Loosen the clamp that holds the wiring, and remove the clamp that holds the vent pipe. Disconnect the two hoses from the metal pipe and move it to the side. Now we can disconnect the two upper connectors and the two hoses of the thermostat housing with the help of the clamp pliers. All that remains is to remove the 7 screws from the thermostat housing using the 8 hexagon socket spanner. Once the thermostat box has been removed, we can disconnect its connector at the bottom. Here we see traces of solidified coolant deposits. This characteristic of the coolant makes it possible to make small leaks visible. Before fitting the new thermostat housing, it is important to thoroughly clean the base and the cylinder head. Can be easily cleaned with fine sandpaper or an abrasive sponge. Is the best time to drain all the fluid and replace it with new coolant. With pressurized air in the tank, we can blow out the remaining liquid in the engine. And through the hose we expel the rest that is in the radiator. If we don't have pressurized air, that's fine. The new fluid will drag and expel the old fluid when the circuit is purged. When assembling, the first thing to do is to connect the lower connector. Fit the thermostat housing with its 7 screws, and then squeeze it from the center in order from top to bottom. We reconnect the sleeves of the metal pipe and the pipes of the thermostat housing using the clamp pliers. Finally, we connect the temperature sensor and fix its wiring. Now all that remains is to add the coolant. In order for the cooling circuit to be completely filled, the air inside it must be expelled. To achieve this, there are several bleed plugs that need to be removed. The plugs can be found in the thermostat box itself, behind the air filter, on the heating sleeve, in the upper radiator pipe, and on the tank outlet sleeve. We fill the tank. And remove the plug from the bleeders until new liquid flows out continuously and without air. We are adding without leaving to empty the tank. Once finished, we leave the tank with the level a little above the maximum level. If possible, I recommend cleaning the engine fluid residues with water. Although there is a sticker indicating that no water should be poured into the engine, means that the electrical part must not get wet, especially the fuse box. For this reason, it is very important to dry the engine thoroughly with pressurized air. We start the engine and let it run to warm up. If the malfunction lamp is on, the diagnostic computer must be switched on to turn it off. When heating up, steam may appear due to traces of water in the radiator. It will gradually fade away. The temperature will rise, and at 98 degrees the thermostat will allow the liquid to flow into the radiator, which corresponds to when the temperature indicator reaches its mid-range. It takes 23 minutes to reach 110 degrees Celsius. That is when the fan is activated. We check the level and see that everything is correct and there are no leaks. If we have a Renault SCENIC, we refit the cover and the ventilation grille. Now we can do a road test to check the temperature and that everything is working properly. Once we have driven on the road, we wait until the engine is cold to check the level again. If the level has dropped a little, then we add up to its maximum level. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the little bell to be notified of new videos. Thank you.